Okay. All right. Well, let's see what happens. I've got audio. Things are recording. It's a little bit levelly, but fuck it. Here we go. Let's make some audio gold.
I've also declared war on potholes, so here's the first shot across the bow.
Well, as you know, with Planet Albany, there's always something that makes the planet turn.
And it's this amazing view of D.C., and Eddie Vedder comes out. And he goes, "You have a cigarette?" And I've never smoked in my life, but if I had, I wish that was the moment.
And this strategy takes us from potholes to knotholes.
I would like to say it was a pleasure, Mr. Kim. But I'm on the road.
Before we get going, I want to note that today's show was recorded on June 9th, and it's made possible with support by New York State United Teachers. And if listeners are interested in supporting Dispatches from Planet Albany, they can visit capitalpressroom.org/donate. I'm David Lombardo, and this is Dispatches from Planet Albany, a WCNY podcast about power and politics in New York State government. And this is another political draft. And back in the studio are the Times Union's Raga Justin and Dan Clark. And joining us at their requests are Assembly Republicans Josh Jensen and Ed Ra. Assembly members, first off, thanks for listening to the show. And second, what made you want to be a part of the show?
Well, I was telling Raga earlier that when I got elected to the Assembly, I thought it was going to be all fantasy drafts all the time. And the fact 5 years in, this is my first one. It's about dreams coming true. Not just for me, but for my constituents.
And Ed, I got to be clear, there's not a lot of upside to this. I mean, really, there's only downside. Who knows what you're going to say? Who knows what we're going to say? And so how important is it that you win this draft and participate in it?
Very, very important. We're in it to win it.
We're really doing it for the entire Assembly Republican Conference.
Yeah.
They need to win.
Yeah.
Well,
You're going down.
In terms of winning, we have some business to attend to. Because
Wait, do we have teams?
No, this is all individuals.
Okay.
So although I guess the Assembly Republicans have two representatives, it's the Times Union versus the Assembly Republicans and a wild card in public media here.
Isn't it always?
I guess. But in terms of our last competition, in which Raga had us up the stakes in terms of the dollar bet, it ended up being a tie, a dead heat between Dan and me. So, Raga, do you have any thoughts on your second, third place finish?
And they can't include Joan Baez.
I'm very upset about it. I don't think I'm going to do too hot this time either. Partially because the circulation to my brain is being cut off by the way that I have to be contorted in this office.
Yeah. I will say...
It's cramped.
You really took one for a team.
I didn't. I was assigned to the seat.
Well... you weren't a diva about it, and you just took the seat you were given, and you haven't walked away. So I appreciate that.
I'm fully prepared. I want to say this. I'm fully prepared to lose again. I have a feeling that the world is sort of skewed against me.
As a woman of color, or just in general?
I wasn't going to go there.
Okay.
I was just gonna say because of my picks. My picks have never been popular, but that's okay. I think I'll be vindicated at the end of this.
Wow.
So one of the challenges of putting this draft together was the guidelines for categories, because our respected, invaluable elected officials had certain things where you guys didn't want to draft. And I think we should, deal with the elephant in the room, so to speak, and that is you didn't want to talk about the next Assembly minority leader, didn't really want to talk about who would be the best GOP candidate. Are your fellow Republicans really that touchy? Is there really reason to believe they would care that much about what you say on a stupid podcast?
Well, you never talk about who the next leader of your conference is, because your leader's going to be there forever. So.
God willing, I hope. Will Barclay live forever? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Excellent.
And Josh, do you echo that sentiment?
I don't know if Chris Sununu has announced he's exploring the gubernatorial race in New York, a.k.a. William Weld from when he went in the primary, but I don't want to have Governor Sununu, I don't want to force him into announcing before he's ready.
Well, I guess sticking with the GOP governor thing, two of the areas that we were thinking about drafting and ultimately did not were who will be the next GOP governor. And
we're not doing that?
We cut that category off, as well as what lawmaker in Albany will be seeking higher office in 2026.
Oh, I had good ones for that
one.
Well,
I was going to say we're not doing it because we need some extra time because of all this preamble and the vamping that's going to happen. But Dan, since we've got it, who were you hoping to pick for those?
I was obviously going to pick Mike Lawler for next GOP governor.
You could have done something much further into the future because, realistically speaking,
I thought about
2060,
Barron Trump
whatever.
a little bit,
Yeah,
but I think he's a little too weird. And Andrew Giuliani.
Maybe he's the weirdness we need.
Andrew Giuliani, I thought maybe, but I think he might be a little too unhinged.
Okay. And did you have someone for seeking higher office that you want to talk about as well?
Yeah, because if Lawler runs for governor, I think Matt Slater runs for his seat. And if Stefanik runs for governor, Chris Tagg is all over that.
And anybody else have any thoughts that you wanted to share on those categories that we aren't doing at this point?
Those are good calls.
Yeah.
I cannot quibble with anything Dan said.
I was going to say John Rivera, an assembly member who probably would run for state senate, assuming Sean Ryan waves goodbye and has the Capitol in his rearview mirror on his way back to a permanent stay in Buffalo. Sticking with categories, though, I want to clear one up because you guys pitched, and I'm looking at Josh and Ed, the idea of LCA member as lawmaker, and I'm hoping you guys can flesh that category out for what are we looking for? Is this someone who could actually get elected? Is it someone who would be good navigating the chamber? What is the criteria that we're doing here?
I think it's ruling out having to run, but they get parachuted into an elected office in the Assembly, in the Senate, and then being able to be an effective member of the chamber for whatever reason the drafter would select that draftee.
Ed, is that how you envisioned it as well?
Generally, but I mean, it could be. I think it's up to the drafter how they see this. I think probably if we all talked about what we look for in a candidate we're voting for, we may be looking for different things. So I don't think this is any different.
Okay. Well, before we began the draft, we did a random draft order machine, and the order for today, and this is a snake draft, so if you go last in the first round, you're going first in the second round, but the order is Dan, Ed, Josh, Dave, and Raga. And the categories we will be drafting today are best dressed in the Capitol, funniest in the Capitol, best talker, public speaker, what have you in the Capitol. I'm going to call it best talker for the promotion purposes. And as Ed and Josh so eloquently described, best LCA member to serve as a lawmaker. So before we get going, does anybody else have any questions, thoughts? Everyone feel prepared? Everyone feel ready?
I'm ready to kick some ass.
And I should know, you two, and I'm again speaking to Josh and Ed, seem unable to keep your picks to yourself. As I check in with Raga, she seems to have a new update from you guys every single day. So
Snake.
Yeah, 100%. You're not supposed to talk about the draft picks beforehand. I am supposed to ask you questions. You're not supposed to answer them.
Well, shoes on the other foot. It's maybe I wanted to ask you and get you off kilter for a change.
Yeah, I did. I thought there might be some strategy in that. You were a little too open with the picks.
I think my reputation amongst the press corps is that I am open.
Reverse psychology.
Well, we're 7 minutes in, so
okay.
Why don't we start with the draft? And Dan, hit us. And again, you guys can do any category you want and go wild.
I'm going to start with funniest occupant. And I thought that this was a little bit wider than the Capitol. I thought this was in Planet Albany.
Yeah.
So I have somebody that is so funny, but that nobody knows.
Okay.
Tom Stebbins.
Oh, okay.
From the Lawsuit Reform Alliance.
Huh.
Is one of the funniest people I've ever spoken to.
Is that because the material he's working with is just gold, or is that something about him personally that he's able to be funny?
Personally. He has such a weird life. Once worked in a summer camp as an entertainer. Mm-hmm. His job was basically just to be the personality hire.
Wasn't he also the person who was an auctioneer for something as well?
Yeah.
And I guess that's personality driven, right?
And he's a professional gala MC every year.
And you got the sign off from him to be talking about all this on the pod. Great.
Were we supposed to get sign off from people?
I got sign off from people. Did you guys not get sign off from people?
I did get express written consent from one of my best dressed options.
I was thinking about that today. I was a little should I tell this person I'm going to talk about their attire? And I did not.
I made sure that she would not be offended if I selected her as best dressed, just out of an abundance of safety.
Interesting. Yeah, so what a respectful era this is in Albany State Government.
I didn't talk to anybody.
Good for you. Well,
Same.
You predate Josh, so you remember the good old days when things were funny and we didn't have to get permission to talk about clothes on the air. Give me a high five, Ed. Yeah, he gets it. He gets it. All right. Tom Stebbins, great pick.
That's good.
So up next, I believe.
Great pick or fine pick.
Well, I guess
it's an okay pick.
We'll let the voters will let us know.
I think it's a great pick because it didn't take anybody who was in my head out of any category.
Yeah, I'm fine with this.
Well, all of the gala attendees listening, vote for
They know.
I
know.
actually think now that you're saying I think he did the silent auction or the cattle call at a gala I was at a couple weeks ago. Now that you say it.
And did you think that guy's a pro? This is no amateur.
I didn't know that was a job somebody could have.
Well, if you're looking for outside income in the future,
the more you know.
Ed, you're up.
All right. I'm going to stick with funniest, but this is a person who could have been in multiple categories, and I think it's going to blow up a few of Mr. Jensen's categories. I'm going with the most popular man in Albany, the New York State Assembly Sergeant-at-Arms Wayne Jacks.
Oh, of course.
That's good. That's out-of-the-box thinking.
Certainly could have been a best dressed, but as somebody who sits in front of him in the chamber, he is a very funny man.
Is he making like little sly comments underneath his breath that you can hear but no one else can?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Any jokes you want to share right now?
No.
Any favorites?
I won't share them, but he's very.
I admired the restraint, Assemblyman.
He is very nonpartisan in his jokes,
Yes.
and that he's happy to crack a comment for any of the fine legislators who he protects and serves.
What about the not fine ones?
Them too.
Did anybody think about doing unintentionally funny?
Yes.
Wait, just let's get to me.
Okay, all right. Well,
Let's get to me.
you're last.
I know.
Josh, you're up.
So I'm going to also stick in funniest. I did have an unintentionally funny person, but I was literally walking over here, talked out of it by my colleagues because they didn't want me to be an asshole.
Who was it, and why was it Jonathan Jacobson?
It was not. It was not. But I'm going to go with my pick is somebody we got elected together in 2020. I've spent a lot of time with this individual. He's very funny, both in public and in private. Mike Durso.
Wow. Can you tell us, some classic Mike Durso humor?
I cannot.
No.
I cannot.
You cannot or you will not.
I shan't and I can't.
Because you're up for re-election in
No, he
2026?
can't.
Yes.
Okay.
But he's very honest in his reflections of the world around us. And especially when things get stressful here, that is an appreciation as a friend and as a colleague.
This is a real niche category so far, and I think it reflects people's interests. But I'm really glad that you all stayed in funniest because it allows me to take who I think is the clear and best choice for best talker, best public speaker, and it's Zoran Mamdani.
Oh.
I think whether it's giving an interview, whether it's speaking at a rally, whether it's during a debate, in any format, the guy is gold. And he talks in great sound bites. He's coherent, articulate, and is tailored to the moment in which he's speaking. And I think that speaks to why he's resonated with so many people because he is such an effective communicator. So I'm very happy that I get to take Zoran because to me, and no offense to any elected officials with us or reporters or past TV hosts, I think he is far and away in company by himself.
100.
Cuomo people coming after you in 3, 2, 1.
That's fine. Andrew Cuomo, who is only existing in certain controlled settings, is a perfect example of why Zoran is so good in the fact that he is so flexible for different settings. Raga, you're up.
Well, I just want to say that I thought the debate was a good forum for him to showcase those public speaking skills.
What did you guys think of Michael Blake in that? Because the person who I live with was blown away by Michael Blake and just thought this was somebody that she didn't know really anything about coming in and was just like, this guy actually kind of seemed persuasive and articulate.
When he was in the assembly, I mean, he could captivate and hold an audience.
Yeah.
When he was speaking about something he was passionate about, it was hard not to give him your full attention.
Okay.
Lieutenant Governor Michael Blake.
Yes, as people might as the real fans might know.
DNC chair?
Well,
Michael Blake?
He was a vice chair.
New York City Mayor Michael Blake.
I mean, everybody's a vice chair of the DNC.
Not for much longer. Not everybody.
Fair point, well made.
Raga, you're up.
All right. Well, now I'm changing all of my minds, but I think I'm
Your
gonna,
multiple minds?
My multiple minds. I'm going to go with funniest for my category.
Our fourth funniest pick.
I'm going to go with. This is it's a toss-up between the intentionally funny person and the unintentionally funny person. But I realize that I'm in this to sort of win this. So I'm going to go with Liz Kruger.
Okay.
Oh,
Because
she was on my list.
I think she brings, and I'm not trying to to gender this at all, but I think she brings like a sass and kind of a spice when she talks. I mean, she is saying some zingers
Absolutely.
in debate. She would work for public speaker too, so I'm sorry if anyone had her on their list for that. She was also a pick for public speaker, but I'm going to take her for funniest because I think it's not just about the public speaking, which I think she does well. She's competent. She's a competent speaker, obviously, but she's also spicy.
Yeah.
And that's funny to me.
As somebody who sits with her for hours and hours and hours during budget hearings, she definitely has exactly what you're saying.
Is she just
can
that
be funny.
on, like, behind the scenes as well?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
Huh.
Who's the least funny during the budget hearings?
The list is so.
Whoever is talking way too much.
And who does that the
It's
most?
usually Senator Lou.
Oh.
Because he has to get a question. I'm very friendly. He's a good guy, but he likes to. If he's in the hearing room, there's not a panel that goes by that he doesn't want to ask a question to.
Excellent. Well, Raga, because of the snake format, you are up again.
God, I forgot about this. Okay. I'm going to go with best dressed.
Our most controversial category.
It's not controversial. In fact, I think there was an abundance of options. As I was talking, you guys were leaking your picks ahead of this, which is why I want to go ahead and get a jump on. I'm going to go with. Oh God. Okay.
So
This is so
confident to come out
stressful.
with-
No, I know
This
it's
is so
stressful because
stressful.
there's
I'm
just a lot of
stressed for
picks.
you.
I'm going to go with Andrea Stewart Cousins.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Andrea Stewart Cousins. And I have her ranked as my number 2 on here, but I'm going to go with her as my number 1. And here's why. I think you can
you're
make
trying
an
to win
argument.
this.
I think you can make an argument about literally so many people in the Capitol, but no one is doing a bit, like a costume bit, like Andrea Stewart Cousins. Like, she is coming in every day, as someone pointed out. She's got the matching scarf, she's got a jewelry set, she's got color coordinated tonal outfits, and sometimes she matches her lipstick to those outfits.
What?
Nobody else is doing it like her.
Agreed.
I don't think there is not a single person that any of you are going to name that is doing it like Andrea Stewart Cousins. So that's all I got.
Well, I feel very happy that you went with ASC and not my best dress pick, because this is the only other one that I feel passionately about, and I think this is someone we've spoken about in terms of their style.
We have. They were my number 2.
And it's someone. Well, you said ASC was your number 2.
Well, she was my number 2, and then she just got downgraded. Upgraded to number 1.
Earth Justice is Liz Moran.
Oh.
It's the 3 C's: cats, colors, and coats. She once wore a top that had a bunch of cats on it. I didn't even notice the cats right away. It sparked a conversation about where she gets her outfits from. And it turns out she uses Newly. It's a rental service, which we then tried with the person I live with at home. Always a wide variety of colors, interesting outfits. And we get to see it because she leaves her coats in the LCA press room, so we always get to see Liz's outfits, and she's just always very sharp dressed in professional attire that's exciting and engaging. I mean, Raga, she was going to be one of your choices, right?
She was my number 1, got downgraded to number 2. It's because I think she's got this eclectic style that's still very, very chic and very Albany appropriate, but so fun. I mean, if you look out, and no offense to you guys, when I am watching a press conference and it's just lawmakers and lobbyists up there, it's just a sea of navy and black. It's so boring. There is nobody is having fun.
Hey, these guys have 2 different navy jackets on right now.
It is so boring.
Republican uniform.
different pins.
Give me something fun. You know what I mean? Anyway, Liz is doing it in a fun way, and I appreciate her for that.
So now we're back to Josh Jensen.
All right, I'm going to go different category. I'm going to go the LCA member who I think would be the best legislator. And this comes from my own personal experience being the Assembly health ranker, spending a lot of time on health topics. I have a great appreciation for people who are subject matter experts. And I think the person who's really owned an issue the most has been every LCA member would be a great legislator.
Not true, but keep going.
Yeah,
Definitely not true.
deeply untrue.
Shocking that I'm
Not even every legislator is.
Shocking that I'm a politician. I'm going to go with Caitlin Cordero from Politico.
Great pick.
Okay.
Politico's own.
And I would like to echo that sentiment in light of Caitlin's ability to run the LCA show and deal with all of the personalities. And I'll just start from I'll say I statements. Her ability to handle me, her ability to put me in a corner, but to also lift me up sometimes, I think was amazing.
I mean, just wrangling Princess Pigeon was probably the toughest
You guys,
job.
she's not a therapist. The category is lawmaker.
Well, listen, sometimes you've got to be a therapist as a legislator.
I wouldn't know.
Well, I like that pick a lot.
That's
so
a great
I think
pick.
that's a good one. Ed, you're up.
So I'm going to go with that same category. And so one of my favorite things about the LCA show every year is when Sue Arbiter and Dan do their little interlude in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely my favorite part.
But the thing is, like, I know Dan better than really I know Susan. So I know that side of you a little bit more. So I'm going to go with Sue because I like the well-roundedness of the seriousness of her, conducting a program every night. She's interviewing everybody from high-ranking officials to people from organizations. But then she shows that she can be a little off-color with her sense of humor at that show every year. And I think those are good skills to be able to wrangle colleagues as a lawmaker and get support for things.
That's great. I didn't think of people outside the building.
I have one. But do you think that makes her, Ed, a better candidate than it does lawmaker? Because she is so well liked. I mean, Donald Trump talks about being able to shoot a guy on Fifth Ave. She could come in here and shoot me in the face, and partially because no one gives a fuck about me. But she could shoot me and still be, LCA president the next day.
You might even raise her profile.
Great name recognition just at the start of the campaign. That's great.
There you go.
Okay. All right. Well, we're back to Dan, I believe.
Oh my gosh, already?
Yeah, we're flying.
Okay.
We're making great
Okay.
time. We could have done 6 categories. We could have done 8 categories.
You're so
Keep
right.
adding them.
I'm going to do best dressed. I'm going to do best dressed. Adjacent to ASC. Shelley Mayer
Oh, it's a good
is
pick.
so best dressed.
I knew you were going to go there.
Because I sit outside the Senate conference room all the time while they're conferencing, and she's walking in and out, and every day I'm like, damn, she's got so many good outfits. Her closet just must be full.
No one is doing a twin set like Shelley Mayer.
Agreed.
What?
Agreed.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah, we all have that question over here.
What is a twin set?
It's sort of a matching set. It's a do you know a twin?
I have twins.
Yeah. Do you know like a suit, like a sweat set?
Yes.
Imagine a sweat set but chic. A suit set.
Isn't that
a
just a
twin
suit?
set. It's a twin set.
Okay.
We learn things every day.
Can I be so honest with you guys?
Yeah. This is a safe place.
I don't know what a twin set is. But I felt like I bullshit my way through that pretty well.
That was great.
Listen, I should take back my
You
pick,
should have.
'cause you could have been a
edit that out. She was great. You had us sold.
It's actually just the sheets.
Yeah.
That doesn't exist. It's
Yeah,
the twin
no.
set of
It
sheets.
literally, I'm like, it might be.
I mean, Raga,
set
it
of
sounded
sheets.
like bullshit. That's why I asked the question.
Yeah. It is a real
You know what?
word.
I want to change my best legislator as an LCA member because the way you BS'd your way through that, you'd be a good pick too.
All right, hold for a second. Let me just look this up.
Well, it's Dan's pick.
Yeah.
So
Sorry, Dan.
oh
Sorry,
my God,
I
again.
why don't we
railroaded
just
you.
see what
You
Dan
think
does?
by the 9th or 10th time you do this,
Yeah, I
you
know.
guys will learn what a snake is.
This is only the 3rd one, so we got
But
time.
At the start of the first one, I didn't even know what a draft was. I didn't know what a snake draft was. I've come a long way.
Yes.
Did you think you were going to the Army the first time? You were getting drafted?
No,
Okay.
thank goodness. They wouldn't take me.
Not in the current
weak.
administration.
Oh, man.
Oh, well, that too.
You and since we are in a safe space here, from time to time you get pretty swole.
From time to time, but
Yeah.
right now is not one of those times.
Okay. But you've got it in you.
I absolutely have it in me.
Yeah.
I'll kick ass.
Yeah.
Well, the Army would make a man out of you.
Don't get me started on the lawn. Okay. Okay, so best talker.
Hold on. How come? Oh, the snake. I'm sorry.
The snake.
I'm with
The
you.
snake.
Jesus.
The
I'm with you.
snake. Best talker. Somebody already chose Kruger for another category, but I was going to have her. I'm going to go and choose Latrice Walker. Because when she gets talking in a good way, like when she's on a roll, she really goes for it. And she will create a presence in certain places when she's talking that I think other people really are attracted to.
Have you ever interviewed her?
Not in maybe 6 years.
Can we get Can we get the Republicans to weigh in on that?
Yeah. What do you guys think? Is she motivated you guys ever to switch sides and vote for the John
I
R.
wouldn't
Lewis
say that.
Voting Rights Act? Oh, okay, sorry.
No, but is I mean, having debated her on many issues, election issues, certainly criminal justice issues, she certainly knows her stuff in those issue areas, and definitely makes passionate speeches and yeah, I mean, you feel like you're debating with somebody who doesn't necessarily need any crutch next to them, giving them answers. She's doing it.
All right, then I will keep my comments to myself. Ed, you're up.
So I'm gonna go best dressed, and there's a number of people who I was thinking about, but I'm gonna go, and I don't know that necessarily other people would have thought of this one, but as a glasses wearer, our new Speaker Pro Temp, Pam Hunter, has this glasses game. You talk about like matches. She wears all these different color frames, like matching what she's wearing and everything.
Great
and
pick.
and I respect the game that she has brought to the rostrum up there.
You are so right.
It's very correct. It's also, I mean, kind of the only part of her that's visible
Yes.
behind the dais or whatever is sort of this part, right?
Her pants could be really ugly.
She's
You know
making a lot with the real estate she's got.
Another name for the glasses she goes with are called a twin set.
And here's the thing about twin sets is that you can switch out matching frames.
Right.
Yeah.
Or yeah,
The
frames,
left eye matches the right
the
eye?
lens,
100%.
Whatever. It's all about twinning.
Can I just clarify what a twin set is really quickly?
Did you look it up?
Yeah, I did look it up.
Oh, what
and
is
I
it?
wasn't too far off. Okay, it's a woman's matching cardigan and pullover sweater. Shelley Mayer is not doing a twin set like anybody else. She's doing a pantsuit.
Oh yeah.
She's
yeah.
she's doing a sick ass pantsuit.
Absolutely.
With an accessory.
Yes.
Okay.
So I don't think I'm speaking out of school when I say that I recently interviewed Assemblymember Hunter, and we were talking about her time at the dais, and she mentioned how there are people who are just watching the video and then will always comment on her style. So I don't think that was a pick out of left field by any means.
Not at all.
And I'm curious whether you feel like she's brought a lot more style than Jeff Aubrey had on the dais. I mean, did he have any noticeable outfits from you guys, or is he just known for his voice?
He was the voice. I mean, he had done that job for so long. He was the voice of the assembly chamber.
Also, he was so tall that it was tough to see his ties through the clouds. But voice was really Mr.
And
Aubrey's calling card.
it's often the only accessory you need.
Yeah.
It's a good voice. That's what I always say.
That's what I tell people about my radio personality. It's all quality.
Don't look at this face.
Yeah. Josh, you're up.
Yeah, so I'm going to stick and close out best dressed. I was tempted to go with my friend to the left, mainly because of his paisley ties.
Politically or sitting-wise?
Sitting. Mainly because of his ties, because
Made him
paisley...
think.
The demands of Long Island are different than the suburbs of Rochester.
Very true. But for his ties, paisley make everyone go crazily.
Oh yeah.
But I
That's
am
the
going to go
saying.
with, and this is who I thought Raga was going to take, because this is what I leaked out and thought for sure was going to get gazumped from me, and this is who I asked for permission to select her, Grace Lee.
Oh, yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Very tailored. Very
Col-
expensive.
Well, I wouldn't know about that, but very colorful.
Appearance-wise.
Yes.
Twin sets aren't cheap, Josh.
No, they're not. But it is different because, to the point about everybody's uniform, the fact Ed and I are wearing navy, everybody kind of wears the same colors. With her pop of colors that comes in, it really brightens the chamber
Sure.
sometimes.
And the thing is that's something you guys can do too. I mean, you can bring in a little funk.
I've been known to wear a burgundy jacket every couple weeks.
I have suits in 12 colors.
Yeah, Dan, you're fine.
Yeah, I know.
I'm talking to the two over there. And this guy too.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm surprised why anybody would wear a suit in the LCA. Just
I don't anymore. I'm gonna
wear your
honest
favorite
with you.
twin set and roll with it.
Call it a day.
Mike Gormley is my inspiration for my outfits, which is he basically knew he could go on the floor as long as he had a tie and a jacket. Nothing else in the outfit mattered or was part of that dress code. So he had his white sneakers. He would be wearing like jeans, and that's how I now approach this job. It's the same pair of chinos I've been wearing for multiple days, and if I do want to go on the floor, I've got a jacket that's just sitting in a closet here, and I just pull that on So Michael Gormley is a fashion icon.
With
as far as
no
I'm concerned.
consideration as to whether it matches or anything. You're just like, boom.
Another good reason why he could be a good selection for best LCA member to be a legislator.
Yeah.
Well, did anyone think about drafting themselves in any categories?
No, even for a couple politicians, that's quite egotistic.
So I won't say what I was looking to do. I won't say I was like, all right, it's a clean sweep for Dave all across the board. But in terms of other people, that now that we've gone through the category, we picked her for another category, but I think Caitlin Cordero is best dressed far and away in the LCA.
Yes.
And although Raga, I do think you're a clear contender for number 2.
I have many twin sets in many different colors.
Caitlin has a lot of fun outfits, and I notice her outfits regularly.
Yeah.
I think my top choice for best dressed was going to be Wayne Jackson. I've asked if he could put me in his will for at least one of his ties.
I thought you were going to say suits. I was going to be like, I got bad news for you, Josh.
Aspirational suits.
I don't think you have to wait till the will for a tie.
He's very proud of his ties,
Okay.
and they're like his children. We're like his nieces and nephews. He loves his children. He tolerates his nieces and nephews.
It's great.
Some other people who we didn't mention in Best Dressed, Jeremy Cooney over in the Senate side, a dapper Dan, if you will, and has the capacity to maybe flex that a little bit more. He's clearly, I'll say it, lost a little weight, and so that's always fun to dress up once you've done that.
Oh, Tony Simone's dressed well a lot too.
Somebody remember Simone? Yeah.
I like Al Taylor's bow ties.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
we were
That's
thinking-
a funky take on the on the.
Clyde
Requirement.
Vanell is a good
Yes.
dresser, but sometimes he breaks out running shoes with his suits, and I feel like that's disqualifying.
That's a no-no for you.
Yeah.
So no Zellner Myrie on the
Yeah.
list then?
There's a difference between
Sneakers
a
and
fresh pair of shoes and obvious running shoes
I see.
that have been ran in.
Again, what were you going to say?
I was going to say sneakers and running shoes. I like a pair of Jordans.
Can I say some of my honorable mentions?
Yes, please.
I've got a couple, but I've got Amanda Septimo.
Okay.
She's always got sort of a fun suit on. Natalia Fernandez.
Yeah.
Great outfits.
Yeah.
Just great outfits all across the board. And then I've got one lobbyist, Karen Carreau.
Oh well, yeah.
Yeah.
Her hair.
Iconic. It's just it's
Absolutely.
very good.
What about Jennifer Rajkumar? She has found an outfit that works for her.
She's
Got
consistent.
a color, and she goes with it. Would you guys like to comment on your colleague at all?
I think there was a Seinfeld episode like that.
Yes. We're wearing the same dress. Yes. Yeah, Josh, you look like you want to talk.
I had her as a possible selection for a different category, and that was the one that I didn't say because I was told that I could have sounded like an asshole.
Unintentional comedy, I can tell.
I mean, the dots were right there. It was just for Dave to connect.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. Who just picked? I don't remember anymore.
I did.
Josh. Okay, so that means it's my turn. And, okay, so you guys have already done funniest, so I don't need to worry about this. So I'm going to go with LCA to lawmaker. And if I was going to go the candidate route, but I would have had one choice, but since we're going lawmaker, I'm going to go with sort of in the same vein as Caitlin Cordero, based on her experience running the LCA show, another cat wrangler, so to speak, and that is John Campbell. John Campbell, as some people may know, is the coach of the LCA softball team. So that means he has to manage people who have a lot of skill and a lot of egos, and people who are terrible and don't know what the hell's going on, and then a lot of weirdo personalities, and he does it all with a smile on his face, and he's won a championship, and they're competitive usually. He balances playing time for everyone. No one has ever been like, we need to depose John Campbell. Everyone has fun. Raga, you've played. Do you think that's a fair assessment?
Coach Campbell's great.
Coach Campbell's great. So I think that makes him the good person to be like a leader, potentially, but also a consensus builder. So I would go with John Campbell. Yes, Raga.
I guess my question is, from what I've understood from behind the scenes conference interactions, you need to have a leader who is not afraid to smack people down every now and then.
Sure.
Right? I mean, there needs to be sort of like a disciplinary element, or you need to be a bit of a disciplinarian. I don't know that.
I can shed light on that in a second, but Josh,
Yeah.
you look like you want to say something.
A leader has to be careful with how much of a disciplinarian they are, because then that makes people resent you. And I think the best leaders are the ones who lead through the respect they have from the ones they lead. What's the old West Wing? Just, a guy with no followers is just taking a walk. Mm-hmm. So you got to have somebody who you want to follow.
What if it's kind of a sub-dom thing, though?
That type of twin set is not something that I have a lot of experience with.
Well, so I will say that John does a good job in putting into place some of the lunatics on the LCA softball team, and so I think he has that ability to speak softly, carry a big stick, use it off to the side where nobody notices.
Yeah, I'm convinced.
Question on the LCA softball team. Who's the best player and who's the worst player?
It's definitely me.
I'm the best player on the team. The worst player, I'm not going to comment on that, actually.
Is she in this room?
It's actually probably a guy who I'm worried is going to get injured at some point.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Is he in this room?
He works here, yes.
Oh, okay.
He works here, yes.
I'm not on the team.
No. No.
To be clear.
And I'm also not worried about you getting hurt.
Josh had a great game in the Assembly softball game, helping the Assembly Republican Conference, the Barclays Bombers, to victory.
Interesting.
Played a little first base. Was out there.
I heard you guys had an
couple
injury.
nice
We did.
hits.
Sam Berger took one in the face.
Yeah. And that was all you, right? You sort of
Well,
just...
no. So
With the bat.
funny
It
story.
had nothing to do with our side.
So funny story. I was actually on second. We were hitting, and I was on second base, and I forget who hit, but it went into the outfield, and I went second to home, and Jordan Wright was catching, and
You have good second to home speed. That was the scouting report on you.
yeah, that's anybody who looks at me goes speedster.
You get momentum going. It's all
yes.
downhill, right?
Yes. But Noah Burrows was playing center field, and he was going to try to throw me out.
Give us
at
some
home.
context for who Noah Burrows was in a
famously.
previous
Noah
life.
Burrows, currently assemblyman from Long Island, previously of the NFL.
Yeah.
So he's an athlete. Maybe not the best.
much
athlete.
like yourself.
Much like myself. He's spry, from what I saw. He decided he was going to try to throw me out. Standing 15 feet in front of him on second base was Sam Berger. And Sam Berger didn't realize the throw was going home and took it directly in the face. What Sam Berger doesn't realize, he saved Jordan Wright's life because I was not stopping or sliding going into home. And Jordan Wright's a big guy, but he's a thin guy. And he would have been on the losing end of that bipartisan coming together.
Yeah, you had built up momentum. It seems like.
I was like a train out of hell.
Like a rocket ship.
Yeah.
Is it my turn?
It is.
I think I still have public speaker and LCA lawmaker left.
Yes.
I'm going to go... Okay, I'm going to go with public speaker. And I have a couple of picks, so I'm trying to figure out in this moment which one I want to do. I'm going to go with Carl Hastie. And I think it's because public speaker is an interesting category. There's a lot of, I've heard when I was asking people about this, they were saying, well, there's people who are very eloquent behind the scenes in conference. There are people who answer questions very well. And there are people who can speak sort of prepared remarks at a press conference where you already sort of know the situation. I think two of those situations it's easier to be a good speaker in. I think to answer questions from the press and do it with any level of composure, I can imagine must be very difficult. So I'm going to go with Carl because, I mean, when he's talking to us, he is often, he can be a little aggressive or he can be a little diffident, but he rarely stumbles. He knows what he wants to say and he projects what he wants to say very well. He's kind of an everyman persona. I mean, he's not intellectualizing it or making it too cerebral. It's a very direct, simple, to the point take for pretty much every question.
And it's in the
we've
title.
ever asked.
He's the speaker.
The man's got to speak. So that's,
He doesn't bullshit us, and I appreciate that.
he doesn't bullshit us. Now, does he say things that we want him to say, or does he answer questions that he doesn't want to answer? No, of course not. But you could also
But at least he
argue.
gives us a reason as to why he's not answering it, usually. And I appreciate that.
I just see shades of Joan Baez right here.
Why? Why?
Seems like a limited capacity. He's not that versatile of a public speaker, so to speak.
Well, you didn't give me a definition for public speaker. It was open to interpretation.
It is.
Well,
I just seem
let
like
the public decide.
he's a unitasker.
Okay.
He's like got that one scenario.
Well, he's not candidating. He's not out there campaigning.
Except every
for
2
anything.
years.
Well, yeah. And he's got it in the bag.
All right. Well, in the immortal words of Dan Clark, great pick. I love it.
Yeah.
Some choice words. Thank you.
So, Raga, you get to go again with your last pick, and you have LCA to lawmaker.
All right. Oh. I'm going to go with Dan Clark.
Wow.
I'm going to go with Dan Clark.
Wow.
Yeah.
I feel like I just won the Tony from last night.
Okay, let's tone this down because I told you were on my list.
Okay, yeah.
He already knew he was on the list.
You're giving me shit for leaking picks, and you told him you were.
It was a consent thing. I had to ask if he'd be okay with it.
Fair point.
Yeah.
Gen Z.
Assembly Republicans. I think that you, Dan, project confidence in nearly every situation I've ever seen you in.
Thank you.
I think you speak well. I think you are very affable. You've built good relationships with people. Seems to me what you guys do, pretty much. So I'm going to go with you.
Everybody should be medicated for their mental health.
And that's the platform.
And that helps me a lot.
I just want to point out, Dan, as far as my recollection goes, which is like 16 years, is the only two-term president of the LCA.
That's right.
Oh, wow.
That's right.
lawmaker.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
And I don't know whether it was like a duly election the second time around, or it was we're going to have to cancel the elections, and I've done a coup for the second term.
LCA tyrant Dan Clark did not hold back. He canceled the newspaper subscriptions. He rearranged the LCA. And
You were an effective leader.
I was until I quit in rage.
No, I think that is a good choice, and you were on my list given the experience as LCA president. So, yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
I'll hire you for my campaign.
Oh, great.
Yeah, Josh?
I do. I know you have the next pick, and I'm worried about you. That if you don't select a certain person, that person's going to be mad at you once again, not selecting them in a draft.
So,
Just throwing it out there.
Well, let's be clear. We're talking about Chantel Smith, regular guest. And someone actually brought the Chantel up as a person worth choosing today. And here's the thing. She's not going to listen to the podcast. And unless someone brings this up to her, we're okay. And even then, I don't think she feels as passionately about this as she does the lobbyist besmirchment that we did last time, which she brought up the last time we saw her, Raga. Yeah, and she was writing on pieces of paper her name. So I'm not going with funniest. And I will say I struggled with this one. I struggled mightily with this one. And again, this is one of those ones where I was like, can I, in good consciousness, pick myself? Because I make myself laugh more than anybody else here does. Raga, I have to say, you were on my list. You crack me up constantly. I was definitely considering it. That's
You're
one of the
kind of
reasons.
an easy touch, I have to be honest.
Well, I'm just saying, you were on my list.
Okay.
Tickle me Elmo.
The person who's probably number one on
we
my
get a
list.
training about that.
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask, since we are doing the funniest, again, Ed, you predate a lot of people here. Has the Capitol become less funny since the Me Too movement?
Oh my God.
Please, why don't you tell us about it?
Has it become less funny?
Yeah.
I think there's stuff people will only say in smaller settings.
You really
I
think fondly
there's
about that pastime, Ed?
I don't think it's changed that dramatically. There's definitely been some very funny colleagues who have come and gone. Like I always tell Mike Riley, you go through the progressing of that seat. Lou Tobacco was hilarious. Borelli was a very funny guy.
Oh yeah.
There's some really funny people who have come and gone that I miss their sense of humor in conference sometimes.
Way to navigate that question, Ed. Great job. You could be a politician. What about pranksters? Are there any pranksters in the legislature?
I've tried a little bit. I'll go around and lower people's chairs after session. I only do it with people who I know aren't going to get that pissed off at me.
Like who?
Anybody on the majority side. I only do it to my Republican colleagues because that feels like a safe space. Yeah.
That's good.
Ed, you do any pranks or know any pranksters?
There's some pranks around occasionally. Usually it's just, if something's going on with a particular member or leaving something on their desk relative to it or something like that. Like a few weeks ago, one of our colleagues left a whole bunch of hazelnut coffee creamers on Mike Riley's desk because he is allergic to hazelnut, and he had told us a story on.
So that's murder.
Yeah. Well,
Only
he
if you drank
told
it.
us a story that on Memorial Day he was going to his parades with Mike Tanusis, and they stopped at 7-Eleven or somewhere, and Tanusis said, "Hey, do you want anything?" He said, "Yeah, get me a cup of coffee." And he comes back out and gives him a cup of coffee, and Riley took one sip and goes, "What is this?" He goes, "It's hazelnut." He's like, "I'm allergic to hazelnut. I've told you before I'm allergic to hazelnut." So he sent us all a message that
Classic
Tanusis was
prank.
trying to kill him.
Party foul.
Last
The
year,
prankster.
last year, Matt Slater sat next to me on the floor, and next to him was Brian Marr, and so about over 2-3 months, every day we would take the day's agenda, big thick piece of paper, or stack of paper, and we put them in Brian's desk every day. He didn't realize it for 3 months and just thought he just had accumulated a bunch of calendars he never threw out. And mind you, it wasn't just mine and Slater's. We took everybody's around us at the end of session every day and put them in Brian's desk.
I love this. Just as a quick observation, there's just a lot of time to be pranking people, it seems like.
That's right.
There's
Get
a lot
'em.
of dead time. I mean, that's how we're recording this right now. There's a lot of dead time.
Well,
Right.
as you're aware, our time we start voting on bills versus the actual scheduled
come
session
on.
time is usually an hour and a half to 2 hours difference.
Yeah.
And I did mention that my pranking happens after session.
Once the work is done.
Once
Right.
the work is, once I'm done fighting for the people of Greece, Ogden, and Parma, then it's time for fun and games.
And there's a politician.
So I'll say my funniest now, and it's Nick Reisman.
Oh.
This is probably
Politico is cleaning up tonight.
Yeah.
well, it's a great bureau, and I will say this primarily is because of his text messages. And I'm on a thread with my LCA lawmaker, John Campbell, Nick, as well as Ian Pickus, the news director at WAMC, and also one of those crazy personalities that John has to put into check on the softball team. Nick is hilarious in his text messages. They are insightful. They are filled with great movie references. His GIF game is on point, and he always cracks me up. And just in terms of the consistency, I have to choose Nick Reisman as the funniest in Planet Albany.
Agreed. I'm also on a group chat with Nick.
Really?
A different group chat. And he is very funny.
Who's on yours?
Josefa Velasquez, newly hired by Newsday
Yep.
as of today.
Congratulations.
Bern Hogan from New York One, Nick, and myself.
Excellent. That sounds like a funny group.
Yeah.
We get down.
Josh, you're up.
I am going to, my last pick, Best Public Speaker, and the way I looked at this was somebody who could hold people's attention during debates, knew their stuff.
And you had to obviously cross off Carl Hasty once Raga picked him.
I did. Shirley Temple wasn't available.
You burnt.
I once again, not to pump his tires, but Ed was a contender for this, but I don't want him to get too full of himself.
If you pick Mary Beth Walsh, I'm going to throw this
No.
microphone at you.
I am going to go with Congressman Mike Lawler.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
I was thinking, okay.
Certainly he's had a lot of experience on every single cable news show
Yeah,
that
that's
has
true.
ever existed. I think Kazakhstan Today had him on just yesterday.
To discuss tariffs or what? Like what was going on?
I think he was talking about his fight for salt. And whether that salt is in Kazakhstan or New York State.
He's got it covered.
He's on message.
Right.
He is a friend. Obviously, we came in, another person that was elected in 2020. We spent a lot of time together. Over those 2 years, he was our colleague. He came in saying, this could all end tomorrow. I'm not going to come here and be a potted plant, so I'm going to stand up and I'm going to debate everything. I think he debated every resolution that came to the floor. But he will stand up on the floor. I've watched him, debate things in Congress. He doesn't just stand up to talk. He has a reason for why he stands. It doesn't matter the issue. He knows the issue, and he can come back and debate any issue. And I think in a place where we serve, where a lot of times people are just kind of winging it, to see Mike, whether he was an assemblyman, now as a congressman, maybe something else in the future, to be able to articulate and confidently speak on behalf of everything is what makes him, I think, a tremendous public speaker.
Ed, you have one left to go, and it's also Best Talker.
Yeah, I had Josh on my mental list, but since he made a point of on 2 different categories saying how he really thought about me, but then not picking me, that's certainly not going to happen.
And if I could just interject for a second, you have a much higher profile on the floor than you might have when you started, and I'm curious whether you feel like you were always ready for that job, or whether you became ready to have a larger speaking role in the conference.
Oh, I absolutely was not always ready for that job. I developed it over time. I would dip my toe in the water here and there. It's something I felt I knew something about, or just explaining my vote. I was not comfortable on the floor when I was a 29-year-old freshman member. Eventually, I got to learn more about issues and got more comfortable, and now I'll go in that chamber and debate. You can hand me a bill I haven't looked at before and give me 5 minutes, and I'm good to go.
Does that mean you're a good bullshitter now?
No, I think I can get to
a better bullshitter.
Certainly better, but also, there's certain things that you just see that need to be put on the record, or we get lots of memos from different groups. We get memos from our counsel's office, so you see what needs to be put on the record, and that's what it's about. It's I don't know too many people are like watching us for entertainment. Just getting the information on the record.
So why are you picking Andy Goodell?
I would love to pick Andy Goodell. I didn't know what the parameters were here when
we make an exception for Andy Goodell.
Well,
he's not going to listen anyways and get you nothing.
This is very true, and I'm not going to pick Andy. I did talk to Andy today because he called me to tell me that I was on the cover of the newspaper in Jamestown about some bill I introduced, which was great. I mean, a lot of my constituents on Long Island read the Jamestown Post-Gazette. I don't even know if that's what it's called.
That's very good because none of us up here do.
Yeah. but yeah, apparently I was on the cover today.
Congratulations.
But anyway, I will go in that same realm of that area of the chamber, but I'm going to go with my good friend Jared Gandolfo. And some of what Raga said earlier, I think, is important to this in that you have these different settings. And I've known Assemblyman Gandolfo since he was Congressman Garbarino's intern, so we go back a ways. But he does a good job on the floor, but he does a good job at a press conference. I've seen him in settings where he's having meetings with our newer members as our assistant floor leader now and answering their questions. And I think he just has a good presence and delivery to him across those different type of settings.
Does he carry the peanut bill?
No, that's Jake Blumenkrantz.
Okay, that's okay. I knew it was another white guy.
Did you
trying
guys
to get him on the show.
Public speaker training ever? There's no media training involved, is there? There's no.
If there was, they wouldn't be doing this show.
I'm not saying we were recommended not to do it, but
yeah.
There may have been a conversation.
Best talkers that we didn't choose: Zellner Myrie.
Yeah, I had him.
I think clearly a great speaker.
He was my number 2.
Here's one that probably no one thought about: Rob Hayes of Environmental Advocates NY. He's their clean water guy. He is a great interview. I don't know how he is in any other segment. Great talker for my show. Alex Borez, future speaker, according to Raga. Another great interview. Always seems to be put together on his issues. Another one I'd throw out there, Mike Gianaris, good on the floor, good interviewer. We talked about, bullshitting earlier, Ed. I think he could be someone who, can weigh in on a variety of topics from the floor, and even in an interview, probably is never flustered by any questions. So those are some of the other talkers.
I had Joe Angelino on my list for best public speaker as well as best dressed. He is a gentleman, if you look it up in the dictionary.
And a scholar.
I don't know if he's a scholar, but definitely a gentleman. And when he rises to speak on the floor, the respect he grants to whoever he's speaking to, his voice never changes. He doesn't get heated. And just he's always very calm and matter of fact, which for somebody who is a sergeant major, a police chief, he's very much...
he has a presence.
Yes. Do you want to tell your story about the...
We were doing like these random like questions we were being asked. We did, and somebody asked me another member I would want to be like, and I said him because I said I wanted to be tall. Well, I realized like the next day on the floor we're about the same height, but he just has this like presence and stature to him that in my head I thought he was easily 6 inches taller.
Well, how tall are you?
Right.
Like 5'8".
Okay, so I'm 5'8" too, and if you give me a 5'10" guy, I'm like, boy, that's a giant. I aspire to be that person. Man, people must want to climb that guy, and that's all I can think of. So I kind of feel you right there.
A tall person who I think is also a good public speaker is Andrew Gennardez.
Yeah.
Like he's pretty measured, but
good
can
interview,
be eloquent, and a great interview.
Yeah, and he was not flustered recently when he was talking about ending a tax credit on yachts, and I said, well, you're a champion of ending child poverty. If it turns out that there are a lot of child labor being used for the yacht industry, would you end this push for you to kill this tax credit? And he pivoted very nicely, but I still aired that. So if you're looking for something insane, check out the Andrew Gennardez interview.
There you go.
Oh, I'm getting a call about wings. What 6? Oh boy.
Oh, I'm hungry.
Well, it's my birthday. All you can eat. How many wings could you guys eat? Because I'm 38. There's a place that can give you all the wings up to your birthday. You get 38 free wings. Could you guys eat how many wings?
So Albany-based rings, 0 because they're trash. But
You're
being somebody from the western part of the state, I believe that the only decent wings are either in Buffalo or Rochester.
What's different about your chickens?
I don't know.
think it's the
Hardier.
sauce.
They drink pop.
We do. It's also how they're cooked. The sauces, the wing sauce here, what you would call buffalo, is just
So dismissive.
It's because it's wing sauce. It's not buffalo. It's wing sauce.
Heat to that.
They're terrible. They're terrible wings.
But how many could you eat?
Good wings. 24.
Ed, how many wings?
Maybe like a dozen.
Okay. Dan, how many wings can you eat?
Dozen and a half easy.
So 18?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And how many? You said, 38 easy?
I'm pretty sure 38 is like not a crazy
See,
number.
your wings here are so little.
Yeah, like a tiny wing.
The place in Wing
That's like a chicken
Mecca
nugget.
are much bigger. It's like an entire.
Did you just call it
chicken leg.
Mecca?
Yeah, they're kosher.
Wing Mecca, yeah.
Wing Mecca.
Mecca.
Interesting.
Kosher wings.
Can you still jump through the table after you eat the
You
2
have
dozen
to.
wings?
You have to. That's actually a requirement.
I guarantee you a future episode of the show is going to be watching Raga try to eat 38 wings.
Yeah, it seems
I am
so
game for that.
doable, you
Oh.
guys.
I will do that with you for sure.
And we have an illicit air fryer in the LCA now, so we will definitely do that. Dan,
Yeah.
blue light glasses?
They're yellow, yeah. My other ones, these are the same exact glasses I own, but I got
You have a twin set.
Yes, actually. I got a new pair with yellower lenses because all I do is stare at the computer.
It's great, very reptilian.
Okay, what were you whispering?
No, has Dan made his last pick?
It's about to happen, but I just want to, we're vamping. This is what people love. This is why they
They
tune
have
in.
business to, like we have things to do.
I have wings
Can
to
you
eat.
text Raga, by the way? I mean, can you text Emma, by the way?
Sure.
Just tell her no, I'm finishing the draft up, and I'll be with her soon.
All right.
Do you want to ask us a question so you can technically say you're interviewing us?
Yeah, how do you feel about medical aid in dying?
I hate it.
More or less than wings in the Albany area.
I mean, I debated it for half an hour earlier this year, so I've never debated chicken wings on the floor.
Well, here's a serious question. Okay, I know we've been joking around. Here's a serious question. If you could only eat Albany wings for the rest of your life, would you take advantage of medical aid in dying?
The most serious of all questions. No, because the wings that are trash are I'm air quoting here, buffalo style. Garlic parm are fine. They just need to be, you gotta cook the shit out of them. You gotta order them that way.
LCA to lawmaker. It's your last category. It's for the last pick of the draft. Dan Clark, tell me why it's not Dave Lombardo.
No, it is.
Oh, shit. I thought that was going to be good, funny self-deprecation.
No, I'm going to be honest with you. Most of my colleagues would make terrible lawmakers.
Yeah.
They would be so bad. Some of them aren't even good at their jobs right now. Like, I don't know.
I feel that way, but I wouldn't say it.
I don't know a lot
I
of
just
people
did.
that would vote for these people.
Okay.
So I think that you would be great.
It's a process of
You're
elimination.
very, very knowledgeable about a variety of issues, and very key, you know how to read legislation.
Wow. Do you guys find that you have to read a lot of legislation in your day-to-day jobs?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Well, good. Dan, thank you very
Kind
much.
of is
Dan.
our day-to-day
You're welcome.
job.
Right.
Wow.
was a little birthday gift just for
Yeah, I
Dave.
guess
happy
so.
birthday.
Oh, okay. It is today.
Happy birthday.
Oh, yeah, 'cause the chicken wings.
Right. That was
Yes.
what sort of prompted
Yeah.
that whole conversation.
It's like an hour and a half ago.
So you're going to attempt to eat all 38?
No, I have the person I live with. It plans on coming with me, and she's promised to eat a dozen. So I just have to go through 24.
Yeah, it's easy.
So
You're not too good at math then.
well, that's 36. So we'll find the last two.
Whoever
we'll
said
find the last-
lawmakers have to be good at math.
You're probably the Ways and Means ranker.
I want to point out one person who, if you had said the category was get elected, I would have gone with Bernadette Hogan.
She was on my list.
Yeah.
She was
She
on
was
mine
on
as
my
well.
list.
Personality.
Yeah.
She's cutthroat. She presents really well.
Yeah.
And I think she'd probably be running on your side of the aisle, too.
Oh,
So, maybe get that
We'll
Nicole
take her.
Maliotakis congressional seat, something like that.
Where does she live?
Right now, probably Brooklyn or Manhattan.
Yeah.
Right? Is that?
We've been growing that delegation the last couple
Yeah.
Big inroads into Manhattan.
elections. Let's go.
How do you guys think this went?
Great. I had a great time.
You think there's any part of this I need to edit?
I do the whole thing.
Yeah. Ed, you're feeling good?
I feel good. Yeah.
When you denounced the Me Too movement, did you think that was good?
I think people should rewind and listen to that part, and we'll find I did no such thing.
You were like, that Vito Lopez, if he was still around, funniest in the Capitol. I thought that was funny when you said that, Ed, but, tomato,
I'm
tomato.
abstaining.
My entire goal for this was to get asked to do another one.
Well, you're going to hit the chicken wing contest.
Sure.
You watch you stomach some Albany ones.
Wait, is it? Can we battle?
Yeah, we'll eat chicken wings here.
Yeah. All right, let's do it. Times
Well,
Union versus Assembly
When you
Republicans.
guys have to come back, well, Jesus, I mean these guys.
See you in October.
Yeah, I was about to say, when you guys have to come back to do the deficit reduction plan,
Perfect.
we can do this.
All right.
Well, thank you so much for participating, Raga and Dan from the Times Union, Josh and Ed from the Assembly Republican Conference. This has been another episode of Dispatches from Planet Albany. If you want to weigh in, we'll figure out a way for people to vote. Maybe it'll just be Twitter. Maybe it'll be a Google document so we can have something that people can share around. But thanks for listening, and thank you all for drafting, more importantly.
It's a pleasure.
It was an
Always a
honor and a
good time.
privilege.
Thank you.
Hey, don't look at my list.
I wasn't looking.
Ed doesn't even have a list. Fool.
Just straight off the dome.
Josh is third.
Well, who's second?
Ed, you got second. So
What?
I'm just telling you.
I
I
can't.
did some voodoo there.
He was
can't-
clapping. Now it goes down to Raga or Dave for the fourth pick.
Oh, you're picking?
What?
I thought you were just commissionering.
Fuck no.
Oh.
Oh, Raga, have I got bad news for you. You're last.
But that
But
means
first in the
that means
snake.
you get the double pick.
I'm the only one with a deadline in like an hour.
Okay.
That was dumb.
You really scheduled the wrong Ways and Means time.
I just filed and I said to Brendan, I gotta do it. I gotta do a pod now.
You're all-
Oh God. Oh God.
All right.